Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ball Breakers. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher. We are here in our secondary stew, our emergency stew, as we had to evacuate our primary stew from where we originally are. I don't know if I want to go into details.
Yeah, I don't like that word.
Is it secret now?
I didn't know if I want to give away the exact location of where it is, but like our studio, where our first stew was no longer valid right now, and now we're here in our second stew, and now I'm looking at two ball breakers right now. I'm looking at Earl and Doc, and how you guys doing?
Go ahead, Doc.
You want me to go?
Yeah, let's hear about it. I feel like I always go first.
Yeah, you're right. I'm good. I feel good in the secondary stew. I think this is my new home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable for some reason. Maybe it's because I have a handsome friend to the right of me and another handsome friend across from me, and I feel good. I'm ready to go.
I think you mean the left.
Well, coming into the show, actually, is the one who is replacing our one ball breaker, Chris. We have our good friend, our graphic designer, who came up with the Ball Breakers logo and did the individual portraits for us. He has a steady hand. He has handsome hands, and he's a good guy himself. Bring on Joe Martin. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's good?
Dude, by the way, so I want to get this out of the way. A couple people have actually, I want to get this out of the way right now, because I'm not sure if you guys got this. I've actually gotten it from two people. They think our logo looks like a scrotum. Was there any reason for that at all?
All right, so...
Or was there any mindset of that at all? Just say if there was no detail.
To make it look like a scrotum. No,
yeah, they said like with the balls and the way the fist was coming. I swear to God, only because I wanted to get that out of the way for people who look at our logo.
Okay, when we were going through our logo sketches, and Joe was so kind enough to just do a couple sketches for us. I think, how many even was our initial run? What was it, like 6?
That was a good amount.
6 or 7.
You gave us like 7 at one time.
Like 6 or 7 of them, yeah.
So yeah, I think it was like 6 or 7 logos, and I don't know if anybody listening, I know you guys haven't, or I don't know, Joe, if you've watched it, Dave on FX, the Lil Dicky show.
Yeah, I love that show.
Dude, that's what I felt like when you were showing us sketches. I felt like that scene where the Asian girl is making logos for Dave, and his name's Lil Dicky.
Oh yeah, and it's just a bunch of dicks.
And it's just a bunch of dicks.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, dude, I'm waiting for Joe. There was one that was really funny where it was just like a baseball just like hitting a pair of balls, or a baseball bat just hitting a pair of balls. And I was like, yo, this is funny.
Mm.
Well, yeah, because I was like, yo, like, what's the name of your podcast? And we were doing the whole like going back and forth, just like console type deal, and like. Those are the sketches I came up with. I was like, oh, some funny sketches, some like kind of serious ones, and that one like completely did not mean for it to look like a scrotum.
Okay.
But it was like a happy accident because it's like, it kind of fits.
It's like a little hidden gem, because if you're not looking for it, you probably won't see it. But if you're looking for it, you probably are going to be like, this is a little questionable.
Right. I had two people who asked about it, just wanted to get it on record by the person who created the logo himself, so that way it's a true fact. But so when somebody, as an artist, it's just for the people who don't know listening, obviously Joe as our graphic designer, he has a history of art. When you're making something, what, like, I assume, how can I word this question? So, for example, like a tattoo artist, I don't know if you can answer this in like a resemblance, but like somebody goes up to him and says, I want this design, but then they let you take control. Like, how does your mind work at that point? Like, do you like set a foundation? Do you like think about the main topic of what someone's telling you when they like want a design done and like start off with that, then add detail? Like, what goes through your head?
I mean, yeah, it's all about like the consultation. Like, you're talking to the person, trying to figure out what they want, and like from that, if they're like, yo, I like your work, I like what you do your thing, then like you have like free creative reign. But if someone like wants something that's very specific, then you gotta take that into account and just give them a couple options and then see what they like. Especially if you're getting like someone coming to you asking for something, like if you're a tattoo artist or something like that.
Like we did with the podcast,
yeah. And there's just like a blank slate, then you just gotta like take it like step by step with the person. But like if it's a tattoo artist, usually you're coming in there with an idea or something, or have like a picture reference to give them some sort of a like direction of where they're going. So
what I think Rocco wanted to ask you is like, how do you go throughout like your creative process? Is the thing. So like, there's this. I listened to this photography podcast called The Magic Hour or something like that, and there was this guy who was on there a couple weeks ago. I think his name was like Gus Powell, and he's a photographer. He has the weirdest creative process I've ever heard of, but I don't knock anyone for their process.
Yeah.
But this guy said he excuse me, he was from Philly, and what he used to do was just go around town schlepping, which means he would just go pick up random pieces of whatever, like trash, and he would just bring them home, and that was like his thing. Like he was a schlepper.
And what relevance does this have?
Okay,
to, like,
so
the process?
when he got into photography, he felt like when he had a camera in his hand, he stopped schlepping. So instead of going out and taking things and just putting them in his house for some odd reason, he would go out and take photos of things that interested him, and that was filling his void of schlepping. So he would go out and take pictures of, let's say, strangers in the park, or he would just take pictures of trash on the ground instead of picking them up and taking them. So that was like how his creative process started.
Wow. I mean, that wasn't what I was asking. I mean, Joe actually hit the nail on the head the way he answered
I
it the
thought you were
first
asking
time.
about his creative process.
But no, so I mean, that is interesting. Like, answering Earl's question, what starts your process?
like from the beginning, like what got me into
Yeah,
art? Or
I
like,
mean, I definitely want to hear the beginning because, and here's why, especially with art, there's a lot of patience you need for art, like a ton. Especially, I assume for someone, and I'm just assuming here, if you're in the art major, I would assume you're more towards the perfectionist side of things because you want your drawings to come out looking good. So, like, I wanted to hear what started your interest in art and how you had the patience through all the years.
I mean, so honestly, like, I was always drawn and stuff as a kid, like always liked drawing and all that. And then my brother, he was also a really good artist, but he was like good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a good writer, a good arguer. He's like a lawyer now.
Mm-hmm.
He was good at basketball, and then he was like good at drawing too. And I was like, no, I gotta like beat you at something. So I was just like, I kept drawing until I got better than my brother. And then eventually he stopped, but like I just fell in love with it. And I also fell in love with like the grind of it, trying to get better. And like you just keep working, and then you see like the fruits of your labor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I just like got into drawing. And then once I got to high school, that's when I had my first like real art class where I was doing something other than drawing, where I got into like painting and then, you know, working with like clay and stuff and doing something that was completely different than what I was used to. But yeah.
Is that where you say you in high school you began to realize that this was your career path? Like this is where you'd want to start, or did you?
I mean, I always knew I wanted to do something in art. Like, I mean, when you're a kid, you just go, yeah, I want to be an artist. And then you don't realize, artists don't make shit. So
that was going to be my question. Because you're a teacher, you're an art teacher, right?
Yeah.
What grade?
I do 5th grade through 8th grade, so middle school, basically.
Yeah. So my question would be, what made you want to become a teacher in art, an art teacher, right? That's what you're labeled as, an art teacher?
So basically, I was doing like NJHS as a kid in middle school. Like my mom made me do it, and you have to get volunteer hours to do that. So I went into my 1st grade teacher's class to do some art with the kids. And then,
for people listening, what is NJHS?
Oh, NJHS is National Junior Honor Society.
Okay.
And my mom was like, no, you got to do this. You got to do extracurriculars other than sports. And I was like, okay. And I went into my 1st grade teacher's class, was doing that. And then I just kept going because it was fun. And all throughout high school, I was doing that. And then I'm talking to like my high school art teacher. And I'm just like trying to figure out what I'm going to do for college, because I'm just like looking at stuff, graphic design, but I'm not really interested in that. And then after a conversation with him, just like asking him how he got to be a teacher, I was like, oh shit, I think it was like right there in front of me, and I didn't even know. And now I'm like, I love my job.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's That's what, like, throughout the years of talking to you, that's one thing I realized. You never strayed away from your path. Like, it was always consistently art. You were always in art classes. You were always on the teaching process. I remember walking to campus with you, and you were telling me your student teaching. Like, you never. It's always been the same path. So I mean, that's awesome.
So Doc was saying, like, when did you realize, you wanted to be a teacher and stuff like that? Like, when I'm friends with a lot of people who are photographers. I'm not really much into the other arts or anything like that, like what you're doing, like drawing, painting, that sort of deal. So, like, for photography, it's very hard to just have a job being a photographer. Like, did you ever think maybe, oh, I just want to be an artist? Like, I don't want to be a teacher. Like, I just want to do wherever the wind takes me, sort of deal.
I thought of that, and then I like started playing out all the steps, especially when you're like applying for college and shit, and you're like, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do, and if I even need to go to college to do it. So I thought about just straight up being an artist, doing art, not like an official job, and just selling my stuff, and just like the grind and the work ethic and the struggle that comes with that is just not my speed. It's not, like, I know that I'm a hard worker, but I also know like that shit is like a whole different beast, because you're like really struggling to eat, and then like it could take you a long time before you're really eating.
It's no different than like starting your own business. I mean, really, you're pretty much working for yourself at that point, and the more, I wouldn't even say the more work, but also just like the quicker you put things together, the quicker you can make sales, turn your work over, and
And not for nothing, like even some of the most successful photographers out there. I know I keep going back to photography, but like someone like Sally Mann, she was like a pioneer in photography, in American photography, and she was just like, she didn't live like a lavish life, what I mean? For someone to be a pioneer of the craft. So like it is tough, like for a lot of artists, regardless of whatever art form you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't need the lavish lifestyle and all that, but it's just like that's so much like work, and then it gets to the point where it almost is like it drains the love out of it, and where it feels like a job, and you're just like, am I doing this? Do I enjoy doing this anymore?
Yeah.
And I ask myself that a lot when I'm about to do anything. Like, am I going to enjoy this? Is this like worth my time? And if I'm not going to like enjoy myself, then I'm probably not going to do it.
That's, I know that feeling just from math when I was learning math in college. Like when we got to the proof level courses, for me wanting to be a high school math teacher or even 6th grade, 7th grade, it was like it just took the love out, because I felt like now I had to learn math at a level that I never needed to, and it was like taking the love out of the just general subject of math at that point.
Yeah.
And one question I wanted to ask you was, what art would you say you specialize in or prefer to draw?
Well,
the best way, and I don't know the right way of asking that. I don't know if it's like a genre question.
No, it's a really good question, honestly, because there's like so many different things that you can do in art. Like there's photography and there's drawing. Right. There's different kinds of photography, different kinds of drawing, and all that stuff. But I mean, I really, really like comic book type stuff. So like you can even see it in the logo that I designed for you guys. It's like really comic book-esque with like the background with the like bright colors, and then it looks really like outlined and all that stuff. That like that's what I grew up like teaching myself how to do. Like ride my bike down to the library and then like check out 20 comic books and then ride my bike back and read them and then trace them, and then like
that's all you love like superheroes and and anime and all those types of where it's like action type drawings, right?
Yeah,
like quick cartoon comic like drawing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really like cool because you see how like dynamic the poses and the like movement and stuff gets, and it's not just like that. It's like they take liberties with the anatomy, and they also will like take liberties with like the environment and stuff like that, and how creative they can get with it. It's like it's crazy stuff.
Plus it's like a strip, so it's like there's like a story that's like behind it as opposed to just a drawing that has like a bunch of meanings. You're making a bunch of different pictures that can lead to a story. And you must have thought about starting a comic before.
Oh yeah, I've just thought about it like all throughout like middle school. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Anything in the works?
Not at all.
Oh. Anything that you're eyeing up, but you can't really figure it exactly out right now. You have like a certain story plot in place, but
Not really. Like
I got one
I haven't
for
even
you.
really thought about it. Yo, hit me.
You should do a Ball Breakers comic.
Like how action packed could that possibly be?
Oh, come on. We can get that action packed.
mm,
Going back, I was just thinking, going back to what you said about, you said like the anatomy of draw and like to put different poses. I don't know. I was just blew my mind. Like it's crazy to hear someone like, I'm going in for teaching too, like phys ed,
Yeah.
and then coming from someone who's in art and hearing what all the stuff that goes into art is like insane. Like you know what I mean? Like there's so much. It's like tedious to a T, right? Like it's like everything's tedious. Everything you
Dude,
it's
speaking
gotta be
of
perfect.
Speaking of like anatomy and art, like I'm really into tattoos and I follow a lot of like tattoo artists, and nothing makes me more mad when I see a tattoo of like, let's say, an animal that just has the absolute wrong anatomy. You know,
Oh.
like I see people where they get like I don't know, for instance, let's just say like they got a frog tattoo, and I just look at it like, well, a frog doesn't have that many fingers. Why is this not anatomically correct? Like, and it's crazy how much thought has to go into it. Like what you're saying, Doc. Like it is a lot.
Yeah, I don't know, just like hearing from someone's perspective who does art and is a teacher for a living, and then having them say all that stuff that goes into it is like, I don't know, it's like insane. It just shows how much what anyone does, like in any of their field or their profession. There's just so much stuff that you don't know, like about other people.
do you
Yeah, exactly.
do you watch Ink Master, or have you seen Ink Master?
Maybe.
The
Wait,
way
explain this because I might have, and I just don't know.
it's 3 judges. The host of the show is Dave Navarro, I think his name is.
It's kind of like Chopped,
Oh wait,
but
nah,
tattoos.
Yo. All right, so I have. My sister was watching this over like quarantine, and she got real into it, and then got me real into it, and it was pretty dope.
The reason why is because it was going on what Doc was saying. When they judge it, it's everything. Like it's not just the drawing. Like if the anatomy is messed up, they'll say like your detail's great here, but like what's this guy's finger doing? Like sometimes they'll draw like the fingers of a person, and instead of it looking like this, like it just like takes a weird curve, and it messes up the entire thing. So one, for people who don't see it, it actually is interesting to like just look at these drawings of tattoos, because it's not just the detail, it's the anatomy, science, everything. And two, that just elaborate on Doc's points. Like I guess you haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you watch that show, it's like crazy, the kind of stuff like Doc was saying that you just like they have to deal with that you don't think about. Like they'll line everyone up and be like, all right, we're gonna assign body parts, and then people will get like, I don't know, the chest, and they'll be like, oh, sick, that's cool, I can do that. And then someone will get like the ribs or something, and then they're like, oh shit, like the ribs, they suck. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I see that
And
a
then
lot too. Or
I'm
like someone
oh, I
will
didn't
come in and say, "Oh, I want to get my ribs done in
Yeah.
3 hours," but then they sit down in the first hour and they're like wincing and crying the whole time. Like, how am I
Exactly.
going to
Yo,
work on
like,
my canvas?
People are crying, like working on the ribs is like bumpy, so it's hard to like navigate. Like if someone's old, they have loose skin, and you're
Yeah,
just like, yo, it's
that
like
is very crazy. That show.
There's
I actually thought about, because I know that they film right out of New York City in New Jersey, so like in North Jersey, and I thought about applying to be a canvas, and then I just thought about like, well, what if I just go there and start bitching and crying the whole time, and I just end up with the worst tattoo in the world?
Dude,
So-
they probably get that's free tattoos, and two, that's like they poll like top artists. You know what I mean? Like they're not
The
they're
guy that does my tattoo work was on Ink Master. I forget what season,
yeah,
oh,
but he was on there. Yeah, Chris.
that's awesome.
I'm about to go back and like find him.
Yeah, I want to. That is cool too. But yeah, like that's. Hold on, there were 2 thoughts in my head, so I'm just gonna get one of them out of the way. Speaking of the canvases, there was a guy who actually he was an athlete. I forget who the athlete was. I watched the first 3 seasons, every single one of them, and then after that I stopped. But it was like the last canvas, and the guy actually had to stop because his muscle was so big because he was a pro athlete. The pain tolerance was unbearable. Like they say, I can't do this. Like he just walked off, and it's just crazy some of the stuff they got to deal with.
Yeah, it's insane.
What was your second thought?
My second thought was just thinking about how they're just free canvases and you can just apply. But like they're the best tattoo artists in the world, so you can't.
the only
even
thing-
if they're the worst one.
The only thing that sketches me out is like you go there, you don't get a say of what you get, because it's like a game show. They like give you like there's like if there's 10 participants, they just lay out 10 skulls, and then you pick one of the skulls off this table, and on the bottom it tells you, oh, this is what you have to tattoo today, and it could be like watercolor lion. So like, what if I go there and I have to get like a, I don't know, like a realistic snail tattooed
I don't know
or something, like, you know what I mean?
What if that's what they are, that person? Like, are you? What if that's the person? What if that's the person they accepted for the canvas and they're just putting it on the skull? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know about the process. Like, what if I did apply and then they're just like, all right, Earl, now you have to get a giant watercolored frog on somewhere.
Oh,
like,
dude,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, all right. So on the show, they'll be like, all right, so yeah, today we're doing, yeah, it could be like watercolor like style, but we're gonna be doing like skulls, and then everyone that's comes in, the people, they'll have their own idea of like what kind of skull they want, and sometimes there's like that really difficult client that wants like fucking weird stuff, but then there's like someone's just like, yeah, I just want, you know, something pretty, and, you know, put it on my leg, and you're just chilling.
You ever think about doing like tattoos, or is that just a whole different ball game of like being an artist?
My dad was like, yo, you should just do tattoos, and I was like, no.
Nah, yeah,
it's permanent on someone's body. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Do you get a lot of people that like text me like, yo, can you draw my like a tattoo sketch for me and stuff like that? I know I reached out to you before about it.
Yeah, it's happened before, but it's not like anything serious.
Yeah,
It is a completely different ball game. I mean, because you can just go sit at a desk and draw whatever you want, and then with tattoos, like you're taking in everything into account.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of my pet peeves is like, since I'm an artist, like people will ask me, oh, can you do this thing for me? But then they don't realize, like Doc was saying, there's like, that takes like different skill sets, or I don't just, we're like, yo, can you draw a giraffe for me? I'm like, yo, I don't know how to just fucking draw a giraffe off the top of my head.
Right.
Like, what? So, but like, if someone asks me to do a tattoo, like, if I can do a drawing and then you can get it of a tattoo, but if you want a specific thing, then I have to think about, all right, this is going to go on their arm. How is this going to look wrapped around their arm? How is this going to look? And then you have all these different like variables going on in your head.
So you said comic was your favorite. What's an example of an art you had to draw but wasn't like your specialty that you struggled with?
Abstract stuff.
Which
I
elaborate.
Just like not using non-representational. If it doesn't look real, if it's not like an apple or a person, then I struggle with it, because I can't think like Jackson Pollock splattering paint, and I hate that.
I had a photography class this past semester, and the guy's whole thing was like, our professor Brilliant, I think his name was. It was an awesome name for an artist. His name was like Mr. Brilliant. I was like, yeah, that's dope. But anyway, his biggest thing was like drilling abstract, like making the normal look not normal. But like, he would give us assignments where he was like, take a picture of a smile, but make it abstract. And I'm like, hey, yo, like, what does that even mean? So the abstract stuff is really tough.
Dude, yeah. Oh my God. I'm just thinking of art and like how many, like, because then you're just thinking about like, there really are just like pictures of just people splattering paint, and it just makes like billions of dollars.
Wait, well, while we're on this thought, I do want to learn more about like your school process. Like when you were in college, like what kind of classes were you taking? Like, I know gen ed classes, like you took like English 1, 2, but when you started to specialize, like what were those classes like?
So I was a double major, so I was education and art. So I kind of like split my time, but that made me like really busy, because there's a lot of writing and case studies and, you know, field work for teaching, and then for art there's a lot of long hours and deadlines and things like that. So like I was doing, you know, some history courses for education, and then I was doing, you know, some field work. You got to go into the classroom and do different things like that. And then for art, you have to do, you know, like drawing, painting, 2D design, 3D design, like graphic design. You're doing like different sculpture classes, painting classes. So it was just like, it was rigorous. It was a lot. I was stressed.
I want to know the reason that made me think of what Rocco was saying, like, oh, art sometimes is just like splattering paint. Like, I wanted to know, like, did you ever have, like, you do assignments all the time, right? Like, you have drawing classes and you had painting classes or something like that, correct?
Yeah.
Did you ever have, like, a professor that was just like, yo, man, like, this sucks?
Oh my God, yes. And he was my favorite teacher. I fucking love this dude. We called him Doc.
That makes sense.
His name was Herbert.
We call him Doc.
We call him Doc. And he was this like Brooklyn Jew that was just like the coolest dude ever. His like wife was Jamaican or something, like, and he would like look at your art and he'd talk to you like in the sweetest way. And then if you like messed up, he'd be like, Joseph, you know I love you, bud, but what the fuck is this? And you'd be like, I'm sorry, Doc, like I'm just a little off today. And he'd be like, yeah, you have off days, but I know you're better than this. And then he'd take it off of like the thing that you're drawing on, take it off the board, and he'd rip it and be like, do it again.
No way.
And then I'd be like, all right, Doc, my bad.
In this photography class I was taking, our professor was telling us that there is like a certain way of teaching art, which is called like, I just Googled it because I kind of forgot it. It's called the S training of art, which basically means like you come to a professor or you come to a mentor or a colleague and just say like, hey, what do you think of this? And they just tell you basically like, hey, this is awful, or like, this is dog shit. Like, and then by them doing that, they just keep putting you down and putting you down, putting you down. And then eventually you just somehow emerge into like this awesome artistic butterfly because they just keep driving you down so you can keep doing your best work. So it might not be dog shit, but then in the end product, you just make the best thing ever.
I think that's relating more into like the teaching style conversation.
But well, yeah, so I want to know if his professors ever, did anything like that, or.
I mean, like, he wasn't that, because when he did it, he did it out of love. Like, you'd also have like deep conversations with him about life, and then you'd like see him in like on campus and just like say what's up and have another like deep conversation just out of nowhere for no reason. Like, he was the best dude, and then he just expected a lot out of you, and he was preparing you for like the real world, because a lot of those people are gonna go off and trying to be graphic designers and stuff, or studio artists, and it's like cutthroat out there.
Yeah, that is you're right, that is the real reality, like in anything, and art especially, because how many times can you come to someone and just think like, I don't really like this piece of art or something, and that's the reality. So they do prepare you for that pretty well by doing so.
What would you say your teaching style is?
My teaching style is, I am not as like brutal as that guy, especially not with the kids that I work with.
Oh, right, you were
because
in
they're
college.
younger.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still pretty honest with whatever it is. Like, if it looks good, I'm gonna tell you it looks good. If you need to fix something, I'm gonna tell you need to fix something. But
me and Doc had an art class in high school together, and we had a teacher. This guy was an ace, Mr. Moo. He was an ace, and he was kind of like what you're explaining. Like, I wasn't hard on these kids because they were just kids at the time, and it's not like they all wanted to go out and be artists. And we had an assignment and whatever. I think we were what was it, like paper mache or something?
Yeah.
And Doc just looks at him and is like, "Yo, Moo, like, does this look good?" And he was like, "Do you want me to be honest, Ryan?" And then Doc was like, well, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, this sucks." And we were just like, "Oh wow, that's
no offense, this sucks." And I was like, all right, thank you. That made my day, honestly.
That's brutal.
He was the best, though.
Do you guys feel like the more candid, like blunt force, like teaching style can still work, or like can work in situations?
It all depends in like what you're teaching, and it all depends in the kids' ages. And especially in this day and age, you really should be watching. I mean, you always should watch what you say to people, but especially in this day and age, like, it's hard to. You can't just have a kid come in and say, "Oh yeah, like, this sucks." What if they take it the wrong way? Then it's a whole,
Well, I mean, so I guess I can relate it more to coaching, where it's like you have coaches that are like hard on you, You know what I mean? Yeah, like you're just hard on your
Yeah.
players, and then you have same thing with teachers. But like sometimes you do get the best out of it. Like, do you feel like that I don't know? Do you feel like it's common that it works?
It just
Like because
depends.
Well, if you
usually
want my opinion from coaching this year, I think coaching and teaching kind of go hand in hand in a way,
For sure.
especially like me, because that's what I want to do, be a teacher.
it's the same time
Excuse
you're
me.
educating just in the sport.
Yeah. And I'm coaching 14 and 15-year-olds. And yes, obviously, as a coach in a sport that I've played my whole life, there's like little things that they might be doing wrong where I'm like, why are you doing this wrong? Like, you can't be doing this. And I'll yell at them and I'll get on them. But then I take a step back sometimes and I'm like, yeah, they're still 14 and they're freshmen and sophomores. Like, they're young kids to where I have to like kind of take a step back and just kind of talk to them as kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, I've been very hard on them all season because, I also, and then that comes to play where it's like, I know you can do better than what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like teaching if there's a kid who's a really good artist at an age 13, whatever grade or age level they're at, and you're like, yeah, you can do a lot better than what you're doing in this, whatever it is that they're doing. It's kind of like coaching. That's the same thing. Like, I'll get hard. Like, if there's a kid that I know that, yeah, you're a very good player, you're just not playing to what you can be, yeah, I'll get on them, but you also have to have that, like, no one to just get off them and let them be kids.
Yeah.
One thing that I'd say about that, like with Rocco's question, I had a professor who I probably would call a mentor now. I even worked with him for a lot of research. His name was Nate. And he was explaining to me, like, so this is him. He was saying, as a professor, I don't want kids to come in here and think that I just sit here and lecture for 3 hours and you obtain my knowledge. Like, he was told me knowledge should be transactional. Like, you don't want to just come in here, like, come into Joe's art class and Joe just lectures to you and tells you how to draw and stuff. Like, it should be transactional. So Joe can learn something from these kids' drawings to say, like, oh, look at this drawing. And he can learn from them while he teaches them as well. And I think that is, like, when he told me that, I was like, wow, that is a great teaching philosophy. Like, you should be able to learn from your students just as much as they can learn from you as the teacher, professor, whatever the case.
I mean, so I try to dumb down teach it as much as I can. It all comes from a relation to your audience, because then once you do that, they're engaged, and once you do that, then you can teach them the content. So, I mean, that was basically what he was saying. Was just he just wants his job to be more than just a teacher. Because, dude, that's really what the problem with education is right now, is that people feel like they have to go to school, which was always a thing, but then they just feel like that they don't even need to, like, learn this because they feel like the teacher is just doing it as their job. And then, like, once that's, like, realized in the student's head, then there's no interest in the class, and it's impossible to teach.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, if I'm not going to enjoy it, I'm not going to do it. And, like, if people are teaching or doing any job, really, and they don't enjoy it, then they're just going through the motions. And, like, the people that you work with, your students, they recognize that. Like, even if you are like, oh, you're just like a kid, you can't really tell. No, like, they can tell. And it's like to the kid's detriment.
Dude, I had a student once. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but it was like a crazy thought, because then, like, I actually got, like, I was, like, pushed back by what he said. But so it was a class in history. It was like a college prep class, and then one of the kids, like, kept getting up, and he, like, didn't stop. He was, like, talking to everyone in the classroom, and I was just a substitute, so I understood, like, as a substitute, you're always gonna, like, just do your own thing. And then, like, the fourth time, I was like, dude, like, and, as a sub, you don't want to go to the office. You just look like you're just pushing someone else's problem out the door. So I was like, dude, like, why are you not sitting down? And he was like, there's a reason why I'm in this class. It was like your regular ed class or, like, special ed class. And then I was like, how do I respond to that? Like, he just told me he disobeyed 4 times, and he told me that, like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, teaching is interesting.
Like,
I could personally never do it. I applaud. I mean, I would love to do it. I always thought. Actually, today I just graduated.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I graduated with a degree in health science, but I really think that I do want to be a teacher. I'd love to be a high school teacher, because I love, like, kids looking forward to. I remember when I was in high school, I'd say, "Oh, I hope I have so and so next year." Like, I always wanted to kind of be that guy. Maybe I will go back. Who knows?
Dude, I want to do high school just to be Doc's assistant coach.
You'll never be my assistant coach.
What do you mean?
Hi guys, this is your assistant coach Rocco. He's never
Yeah, what a
played
duo
competitive
that would be.
baseball.
Huh?
What a duo that would be.
Absolutely. You know what? Maybe I would take
I
you
would-
on as my assistant.
I would just record stats.
Just be my bookkeeper.
Just be
Yeah.
a manager.
And Doc would like try to pinch hit, and I for like righty lefty reasons, and I'd be like, nah, dude, like this kid Steve is better off the bench.
You'll be like, what's his name in your favorite movie?
Peter Brand and
Yeah,
Moneyball.
Peter Brand. That's who you be.
Oh, speaking of, you guys had quite the Balbs outing.
Yeah.
You know,
We forgot
That was dope.
we forgot to give the Balbs
Yeah,
update.
Joe's just like already 10 times better than Chris, I think.
Oh my god,
No, not at all.
dude, Chris is
Chris
fact
is in
has been getting
Aruba
lit.
with his
Yeah.
beautiful girlfriend, living a great life, and we're in the stew too.
Took a picture of a beautiful casino. Ooh, dude, I miss casinos. It's been a while for me.
He's probably having a blast out there.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, he sent me a picture today, like noon, of him drinking an appletini by the pool. And I said, "What a life!"
Let's get to the Balbs update real quick, Doc. What happened this week as the second coach of the team?
Oh, second coach. I'm the
I did
manager.
hear you. I heard you got demoted.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it. You know, I don't have to worry about writing a lineup or
Wait,
making decisions. I kind of just
Is there drama in the?
no
Drama
no
in the
drama.
clubhouse?
No
There's
drama.
some controversy. I can say that.
Where?
Something's brewing.
Okay, so this is what Rocco's. I'll just take the words out of your mouth.
Shares the.
Ro-
shares the tea.
Rocco has been urging to be moved up in the lineup.
I have not. Or I just want to bat lead off.
He wants to bat leadoff, so our manager batted him second, and he had a pretty decent game.
Joe, I went.
He
5
had
for
a
7
good
with
game.
walk.
Okay, sure, he had a good game. But I make the lineup this weekend, and he will for sure not be batting second in my lineup.
He just
Absolutely
hit
not.
5 for
It doesn't
7.
matter. Nope.
You know what I hit before that? 6 for 8 with a walk.
All right. Well, the Balbs went 2-0, clean sweep of. I don't know who he played. We that was our first sweep of the season, I believe. Joe was in attendance. He came out and supported the
It was
Balbs,
a great game.
which was fun.
I saw Rocco sprint for the first time in my life.
When was that?
That was Sunday at the game. I saw you sprinting, running bases. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
I was just asking why because I get on base.
It's funny. Yeah, the way his arms flail, he looks like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
No, it's
The way he
arrow.
runs.
It's aerodynamic.
No,
Bro.
technically
I
now,
know.
if you just signed up for track and field tomorrow to be a runner at, I don't know, whatever age you are, 20-some years old.
They would start
They-
with me of all
But
four
they
of us.
would tell you, like, hey, if you run, you need your arms to be at a 90-degree angle, and you need to pretend like you're taking a phone out of your pocket and answering it. So Rocco does have good running
No,
form.
You
That's-
ran track, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I loved about watching Rocco run, was because he hit and then he was not super fast. But when he turns on the jets, you can tell because he goes from running normal straight to the
He's got good form, doesn't he?
his form is impeccable.
Bro, I'm telling you. They tried telling me. They were like,
Who's they?
No one.
if you want
You
me
need to
be,
stay
no,
away
no,
from
no,
they.
no.
Who's
Okay,
they?
you're right. If you want me to be completely honest, it was actually my college ethics professor saying I could teach you how to run faster, and I said I don't need you. So I researched the proper form of running, and that was the first thing I figured out was aerodynamics of your arms. So then I just never steered away from it. I said if anything, I might be a tenth of a second quicker, but I'm quicker,
Cheek to cheek, man.
cheek to cheek. And you want to really know what it is, Joe? Doc's really just mad that I not only am batting strong, I took his spot at second.
Doc's mad he doesn't have as good as running
you
form
go.
as you. Because
He took my spot. I batted third. What do you mean you took my spot?
No, I took your position.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
I had the best game in second of since the past. I didn't make one error.
Not a single ball was cleanly fielded. They were all hitting your
Joe,
wrist.
were they? Every ball hit
I
my.
will-
What do you mean
don't-
they hit my wrist?
don't
What are you
bring-
talking about?
You got it nice.
I fielded it fine and made the out.
don't bring Joe into your drama first.
Nah,
of
Joe.
all.
Joe was there. If he
No,
if
I'm
he
up.
saw something he
You're
didn't
putting him
like,
in a
he'll tell
bad
me.
spot.
I'm impartial, unbiased.
I fielded every ball that
All
came
right.
my way. It made the out.
I
Got the
mean,
out.
hey, if there's no errors, then you say you didn't field
I
it
think
cleanly.
Rocco
What's the matter?
missed the tag at home plate again at the catcher position. That should have been an out. But I don't want to get into all
Hey,
that.
listen, we're
Should've
2
been
and
a
0.
wild play.
We're 2 and 0 right last week, you guys.
Yeah.
Any way works.
Anyway, hey, wins are wins.
Any way works.
We'll take it. I almost got thrown out in the 7th inning with 2 outs too.
Thrown out
Out of the
at
game.
home. Oh,
No, like out of
the
the
second
game.
game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard the umpire. I said something to him, and he was like, "You know, I could throw you out, right?" And I was like, There's 2 outs in the last inning. Throw me out. Whatever.
Wait, what was even count at that point?
We were up like
first,
6 runs.
Yeah, I was about to say the first game you guys spanked them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was like, whatever.
There was a lot wrong that happened that game. The umpiring was really bad, and I just had a train of thought.
Rocket looks stressed.
He's getting riled up.
I am getting riled up, dude. I can't wait for the. Oh, that's what I wanted. Just in case, I feel like this is a shout out that needs to be said. We have the best pitcher in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. He's actually one of our he's probably our number 1 listener, I'd say.
Yeah,
Stud.
number 1 listener,
Yeah.
best pitcher in the league. I'm sure we can give him a shout out. John Garnieri. Go follow him on Instagram. BG Bullies. He's a stud, absolute stud.
He always DMs us.
He's going to be upset when he tunes into this week's episode because he wanted to have the newest update because we do usually record on Sundays, so after your guys' game. So he's not, we're not covering what's going on in the future.
We're a little off track with the recordings because schedule. Well, my schedule's been a little messed up on Sunday, so I apologize. It's
I have
me.
an idea.
It's
We should do it right now. The Balbs for this Sunday because we're recording Thursday. What's today's date? May 13th. So we'll be playing Sunday. We should make a prediction of everything that happens in a game
go to the future.
week.
for this week.
Run faster than the speed of light, go into the future.
Yeah. We are time traveling right now to Monday.
It's impossible to time.
I
travel
say
in
the
future.
Balbs got another clean sweep. We 15 run on both games. I go. I don't know.
It's hard for
9 for 9.
It's hard for someone like me and Joe to make a good prediction because we don't know who you're playing.
Yeah, so the Balbs
Who's
win
on the-
23-7 the first game and 24-10 the next game. So we're clean sweep this week, and we're ready to go next week.
I hope no guys from that other team you're playing this
Are
weekend
listening.
are going to listen because they're coming with the revenge game now.
Y'all are in the playoffs, right?
Nah, the
No.
playoffs don't start till June.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say, I
gotcha,
think the
gotcha.
season just started
Or
for you
July.
guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the playoffs start, things get a little heated, Joe. I start to lose things.
Getting into your competitive mode.
Yeah, I was a little nice this week.
Yeah, we
Nice
didn't have
to-
any problems with you this
This guy
week.
Rocco's a hothead, dude. I went to 4 games last season, and the first game I went to, I mean, who would what grown man would fight Rocco? You would think, what kind of person would want to fight someone at 9 a.m., and then, boom, enter Rocco,
That's
and
crazy.
there's guys that want to fight at 9 a.m.
'Cause I really wanted to see it because I hear the stories. It's yo, Rocco's not even doing nothing. He's not talking trash. He's just being Rocco, making jokes, and people are like, "Yo, shut up!" I'm trying to bat,
If
and then they want to
you-
fight you, and I'm like, I want to see that, and it didn't happen.
If you need a flamboyant catcher to talk to, he's on the Balboas. And the prediction for this Sunday is all. And by the way, when I bring
No,
up,
not prediction. Just say what the score is.
No,
We're acting like we want this. This is the score.
no, I know. I just want to get this out there. When I say I want to get moved up in the line, no, I don't want to get moved up. I either want to bat late in the lineup or lead off. This number 2 thing. I know I'm your best hitter, but it's get it off me. Second of all, where am I batting this week so I can give a prediction?
I don't know. I haven't made the lineup yet.
Okay. Well, all right. I think we win the first game 18-14. I think we come out a little lazy. Second game, I think we're going to win that one 12-6.
Okay, you went lower. So we sweep.
We sweep.
Yeah, that's it. That's all that matters. 2-0. Balbs are 2-0 again. They
Oh.
improved to 7-3 on the year.
All right. I just want my leadoff spot.
All right.
All right, well, this week, as everyone knows by now, we're missing Chris. So we're a little upset we're missing our fat fact. But we do have something brewing right now, and I think Doc's about to hit us with the skinny fact of the week.
Let's call it the skinny funk.
Why? What is that? If I came to you,
funk.
if I came to you and said, "Hey, I have a skinny funk for you," what the hell would you think I was?
I'd be like,
All right, my
walk
bad.
away.
I would probably start cowering in fear. What are you doing?
All
Whatever you
right,
got,
all right.
don't bring it over here.
Skinny funky fact.
So what do you got, Doc?
All right. I'm going to spit out 2 facts that they're both really dumb.
Dude,
But I
2
think-
facts are already better than Chris.
I know, I
and
know.
they're ready?
Oh, and they're
wow.
ready up. They're right next to each other, too.
Oh, wow.
All right. So the first fact is short and sweet. The creator of the Pringles can is buried in one.
What?
Wait.
So it says here,
Hold
The ashes of Frederick Barr, who created the iconic Pringles can in 1966, found his eternal resting place in one when he died in 2008. And FYI, his remains are in an original flavored can.
All right, so that's different. No, I mean like
He's tall.
buried in a can.
Yeah, his
versus
ashes are
have
in
your ashes in a can. I thought you were like, this dude's just in a giant.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was
No,
thinking.
no, like his ashes are made up in
okay.
one of the
I thought
Pringles cans.
I
Oh, you
thought,
thought he was
like-
buried in like a gigantic Pringles can?
No, I thought
was like,
I thought you were gonna say like his casket was a Pringles.
Oh, that'd be
No,
funny.
No, he was cremated. In
I don't know. I
his-
thought this was
But
interesting.
still, that's pretty funny.
That
Either
is-
way,
No, that isn't. Because you have to think about it, that was probably like his entire life was
Oh yeah,
building
I mean,
Pringles.
If I did that, I would do the same thing.
I mean, he created a generational wealth for his family. I mean,
And think about, dude. Oh my God! Think about the mind power he had, the mindset to create these perfect chips that are layered so perfectly in a stack.
I really like Pringles, especially for the fact you never get jerked around when you get like this container
sorry.
of chips and they're not like half full.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
It's
like-
the perfect it's the perfect product because you know that tin is exactly that many chips.
Yeah,
every time.
And so I think it was like our second or third episode when you were talking about chips and like how much of a ripoff it is that like you get a bag of chips and they're only like a quarter of the way full. The rest of it is air. But Pringles, they're just elite
When
on
when
that
you,
regard.
when you looked at me, I was thinking, I was like, they always end up broken though.
Oh.
No, they don't. Don't even get me
Nah,
started.
they do.
on this.
Joe's right.
Wait,
No, they-
Joe
like,
just
it
said
doesn't-
that
it-
in such a depressed
Yeah.
way. It just
No,
hit me.
because all the stuff that you guys said, I agree wholeheartedly on. Like, I love that Pringles are like perfectly stacked. I mean, I can never really put my hand in there, but I don't really give a shit about that.
Oh no,
And
you have
then-
to real quick. You have to perfect the way it slides
gotta-
out.
Yeah, like
Well, you gotta do the
slide it out.
two-finger
and
method and-
yeah,
The two
Cool.
fingers slide it out, and because they're curved a specific way, your finger actually
it
perfectly
actually
slides
works really
underneath
nice.
the one to pull it out.
and then I like that it's not a rip off, and it's not like just a bunch of air. But I always open it up, and there's like a bunch of little cracked up chips, and it pisses me off.
It
'cause
shouldn't.
I'm like, these are all perfect chips, just at you.
It shouldn't. They sink to the bottom, and then what you do after that last perfect chip
Treat 'em like
is
a cup.
you have a bunch of mini chips that just satisfy
I
your.
mean, you can do that with any bag, though.
Yeah, but it's not a tin that perfectly enters your
it's
mouth
not
like
a
a
cup.
cup. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to adjust the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Because
it-
and
are
especially
dope.
if you open up the bag wrong where it tears on the one side, I mean, how are you ever going to get those chips? Like,
I
You
was
guys
Yo,
like
you
my
guys-
Pringles fact?
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you lay the second one on us here. It's gonna be hard to, beat that one. That one was good.
Chris, I still like your facts.
Oh come on, you don't have to pander to Chris.
there's a lot of meat on
All
it.
right, this one is a little more like I feel like geared towards Chris. I feel like this is like one of the facts he might like spit at us. So shout out to Chris, I guess. So there are 10 different ways to pronounce the letters O, U, G, and H.
Like it
So
together.
here,
Tough.
rough,
Oh my god, you just like said
ASMR.
rough and just really like exhaled perfectly. It was like
rough, plow, through, though. It's those are the only words they're giving me, but yeah, no.
There's 10
Rough.
ways to say it.
It has an off sound.
No, we get it, but
Yeah.
like you only gave us 4.
I know that's all they gave me. That wasn't really the fact I want to say. Here, hold on, one more. Ready?
it's almost like Chris is here.
Exactly. That's why I thought it was like the Wizard of Oz's full name is Oscar Zoroaster Frederick Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambrose Diggs.
No wonder he just went with Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm. So
that
there it
reminds
is.
me of the guy from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh,
yeah,
Victor Esteban Julio.
Esteban, Julio, Ricardo, something I forget.
Yeah, he's got a lot of names,
Yeah,
but just probably
guy-
as many as that guy.
He
yeah,
must
that
be
was a lot
Yeah,
for the Wizard of Oz. He shortened it to only 4. I think I should be the new fact guy.
Yo, maybe we should take your skinny fact with Chris's fat fact and have a vote each week.
Whose fact was better?
Mhm.
Vote what between me and you? That would be the only.
No,
people.
we'll post it.
Oh, through with our listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners, okay.
I'm down for it. I would
I
love
like
it
it.
because we've been getting some heat on Chris's
Yeah,
fact.
Chris's facts has just been
People not like
it's-
Chris's facts?
You just told us
I
that
like
Byron
his facts.
Pringle was buried in the
Byron
Pringles.
Pringle. That's a wide receiver on the
Chris
Chiefs.
was so upset about the feedback on his facts that he actually left one out the 1 week. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take the week off because people have been hearing some mumblings going on." We were like, "Wow, that's really petty."
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys should get sponsored by Pringles. I don't know. I'm still on it.
We just talked about that. What if you could be sponsored by one product? What would it be? Where like you get free stuff from it because you're sponsored from it
Oh, what? If I could get sponsored by one product,
for your art. Just say you have an art
for
business, and
free,
you got
I could get
sponsored.
free stuff.
Yeah, anything.
Airbnb. I could travel anywhere and I'd be able to live wherever I want.
Would that be the way? There's no way
shot
that
Airbnb
Airbnb.
sponsoring us.
Why not, dude? I'm sure that people who get sponsored by like
Some,
clothing
like,
products get some pretty outlandish things. They're sponsored.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll accept it.
I'm very versed in the whole sponsorship deal, but I don't know if Airbnb. I mean, there would be like some sort of maybe they give you like 20% off every time you book,
Or maybe
Yeah.
credit.
unless you were like 10 million followers and they're like, okay, post 3 posts a week of Airbnb and we'll give you a free Airbnb every month or something. Then I could see it, but I mean, they're a huge corporation.
yeah.
No, first of all, you're going into the details of it. I just accept it, Joe. Like that's a good answer.
all
Don't
I'm
listen to
saying
Yeah,
these
it's a
is
good
guys.
answer.
Oh no, yeah,
that's
I agree.
a big expense when you travel,
Mm-hmm.
and I ain't got it like that. So
Yeah, what's funny?
Airbnb was like, "Hey, you want free places to stay?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm going on vacation like every 3 months."
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome for sure.
I would like if they gave me like free air, like you get 5 free Airbnbs a year or something like that.
What'd you call them?
Airbnbs, I don't know, dude. I'm a little tired now. Airbnb and Sahalahu.
Yo,
On that note,
I would want to get sponsored by Monster Energy
that was yeah.
because I drink a lot of Monster like every single day of my life. So if you're listening, Monster Energy, sponsor me, Ryan Doherty. Drink your products every single day.
Would you wear their merch? And just,
Absolutely.
like, walk around with like the
We could get you
Monster.
there.
Your
Yo,
biker
there's like a
jackets.
crazy. Now I gotta look it up real quick. Go on.
Take your
There's
time.
like a huge like conspiracy theory behind the Monster label. You ever hear guys hear that?
what? It's like the devil's drink.
Yeah, or something. It's weird.
I'm out on that, bro.
Or it's like 666 or something. I don't know. I don't know. So,
Wait,
yeah,
like
sponsor me.
the creator
That's
made it
OD.
to. I mean,
It's like the old Facebook ladies are out and they're like super Christian and they're like, "Yo, the Monster label is the label of the devil, and if you drink Monster, you're a devil worshiper."
I hate when stuff like that's brought up. Like, you ever hear like this is going way off track, but anything with the devil? Would you ever hear like the backwards Beatles song? It's like,
I'm just so over that shit.
dude, it's skeevy.
Yeah, that's why I don't listen to the Beatles.
Oh, dude, I think. By the way, let me get this out there. I want to get so hated on this, dude.
You
I
like
think
the Beatles.
I think what Rocco's
No,
about
they're
to say
actually
is
pretty
I'm going to
good.
agree, and then I'm going to say something even more outlandish. And
Wait, what just happened? I was on Google.
I think the Beatles are the most overrated
Yes.
band. To be called the greatest band of all time is just outlandish in terms of they might have had the numbers or whatever. I agree, like maybe even today's music, like if you talk about like Old Town Road and how that was like one of the greatest songs ever statistically, like all right, we can go into that argument, but in terms of just the Beatles themselves as a band, they're overrated in terms of the greatest band of all time.
I
All right,
said
Blake.
something to a couple of my friends in a one group message a couple weeks ago, and I just flat out told them like Young Thug is a better musical act than the Beatles, and no one's going to tell me differently.
Well, that's
I mean,
that's
I would agree, but that's because I listen to more hip hop than I do like Beatles
Like that.
genre.
And from what Rocco's saying that the Beatles are overrated, like give me I can't even think of a band right now, but I'll take like 5 bands over them.
But like, you gotta think.
Yeah,
Beatles-
but back in that time, the Beatles were just unbelievable.
Yeah, they were superstars in their time, and even still, like
Yeah.
people like cross generations. It's like Michael Jackson. Like kids that I teach know and love Michael Jackson. Kids that I teach would know and love the Beatles, and they were not alive for that. Like, you've got to have some crazy talent and longevity to be able to be touching Like
Speaking
No.
of Michael
everyone's
Jackson,
weird.
Brunssack.
I'm not.
Okay, I'll just stop talking.
I'm sorry. I'm not arguing their credibility.
I'm not
sorry.
saying they suck.
Yeah, they're just not the greatest. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
guess,
but he mentioned Michael Jackson. I want to say one of my players today at baseball practice said that Bruno Mars is better than Michael Jackson, and
No,
we were not having it in
That's
that
like-
huddle.
Yeah.
That's
But a
something
lot
that
of
breaks
people
the
do
team.
say that Bruno Mars is like the modern day Michael Jackson, like the way he dances and the way he sings and all that kind of stuff. But he's not anywhere near Michael Jackson.
There's only two people that give me Michael Jackson vibes at all, and it's him and The Weeknd.
I was going to say the weekend,
The
too.
That's a good answer.
I mean, people were saying similar stuff about Chris Brown when like he was coming
Yeah.
up.
I don't think it's anything like those two though. Like,
I think it's the dancing.
No. You guys, I don't know if you guys were big fans of Chris Brown. Obviously, had a very unfortunate falling out for him because he's a piece
He's
of
got
shit.
some history.
Allegedly, I don't know. I don't want to speak on it. I don't know a lot about it. But anyway, Chris Brown was like the next coming in like 2004. He was
Yeah.
supposed to be like the best. He was supposed to be Michael Jackson, and then he beat Rihanna up and whatever happened with that.
that's
But
right.
yeah, he was supposed to be very good.
That wasn't even the point. The point that I was going to say was, it's interesting you bring that up because there actually are, like, I feel like I haven't heard, and strictly about his talent, that he's been highly praised throughout his career, is Chris Brown. There actually
You
is
haven't?
no, like I have only heard good
Oh,
things
okay.
about like Chris Brown. Like it's just funny because you're right. He hasn't been talked about because of the things he went through, and like people try not to talk about him. But like when they do talk about the way he sings, like I've only heard good things. I haven't listened to a lot of his music except for his like mainstream.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. We're not going to do what Doc said.
Yeah, we'll cut that.
Well, yeah, that brings us to the end. I mean, it was great having Joe on, dude. I mean, Chris just
Well, I just
Facts aren't
love,
there.
like we were talking about last week. I love having a guest for the sole reason I love that we can learn something new. So like last week, obviously we talked about like, oh, we're gonna learn about crypto and whatever else. Let's have someone who is a professional in crypto. And today we had someone who is a professional in art.
Could you draw me naked?
I could. Will I? You've been trying to get me to draw you naked for like 5 years.
We'll get on that. Continue.
Well, that's just it. Like, we love to learn new things. Our listeners now can have insight on what it was like to be an art student and how Joe traveled through art and where he is now. And just cool to learn new things.
Let's go, baby. Any closing points, Joe?
For me,
Mhm.
nothing too serious. You know, if you can write your name, you can draw.
I love
That's
that.
fire.
I love that.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, Chris would have never have closed out something like that. That's huge. If you can write your name, you can speak. And before we go,
That's not
Oh my!
you
way
can
to
draw.
ruin it.
You can. What was it? If you can write your name, you can draw. My bad.
Chris would not have made that mistake.
No, he wouldn't have. Because I was thinking about Earl talking about the show. That's crazy. I didn't mean to just screw it up right there, but I did.
No, you're good.
Can you say it one more time?
If you can write your name, you can draw.
Earl, what do you want to close out with?
Let's win the week. Monday is the best day ever. Sets the tone for your week. Well, actually, not for me. Every day is the best day ever because I'm not working on a weekly schedule because I graduated college.
Yo,
So,
that's huge.
Every day is the best day ever.
Doc said congrats, and I didn't. I felt bad, but
Hey, it's all about just winning every day, taking it one day at a time, doing what you can do, and just making the best of it.
I agree. If I were you, I would say that I also graduated tomorrow and give myself another off day.
Yeah, you should do that for the next like 5 months.
Yeah.
It's funny, so many people, well, we're still kind of talking right now, but so many people DM me on Instagram today saying congrats, and I'm like, yeah, now I got to go do that, like, dreaded adult thing, and a lot of people told me, like, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. But here we are.
I'll recommend because I get to spend a lot of free time with you, and I enjoy it.
you know what's great about being an adult, though? Everyone doesn't really know what they're doing.
Facts.
Yo, Joe is just like, man,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. That's good stuff.
Somebody told me once, you go from elementary school to middle school to high school to college to
Here we are, Ball Breakers Podcast. Thank you.
there we go.
Hey,
Bye.
deuces.
Bye.